विद्यानन्देश्वरसमारम्भाम् नित्यानन्देश्वरिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome you all for the experiential session on Jiva. Listen, first let me define Jiva. What you perceive yourself as of now to whatever you can perceive you. Till that level, you are called Jiva. When you cannot perceive yourself anymore individually, separately, you are Shiva. Listen, let me repeat once more. Whatever you perceive as you, as of now, from this point to whatever you can perceive as you, whatever you are perceiving as of now to whatever you can perceive as you. Understand? Even if you perceive yourself as Sadashiva, you are only Jiva. It's within the matrix. There will be a space where you will not perceive yourself as an individual. Only then you are Shiva. Listen carefully. I'll repeat once more. Whatever you think as you as of now, from this to whatever you can think of you, perceive you, all that put together is Jiva. There will be a space where you can't perceive you separately. That is Shiva. The basic unit of Jiva, I'll explain now. Listen carefully. Basic unit of Jiva. Listen. You all know in your day-to-day experience, sometime you are with thoughts. I should say most of the time maybe. You are with thoughts. There are some moments in your life where you don't have thoughts, without thoughts. I can project this on you in your screen. I project it on LED screen. Listen, with thoughts now. There are some moments in your life where you don't have thoughts, every night deep sleep. That is why you wait for that moment where you can forget your spouse and boss. There are some moments in your day-to-day life without thoughts. And there are some moments in your life where you have that clear I identity with I consciousness. Now, for example, now, how many of you feel you have that I identity clearly, I consciousness? If you have not raised the hand, you don't have. Okay. Waking state, you have that I, that idea. Listen carefully. The dream state, you don't have that I clearly. That is why the thoughts are driving you. The I is not able to do anything in your dream. You can see your thoughts are acting, functioning in much higher frequency than your individual I. How many of you understand what I am saying? That is why I am saying in the dream state you do not have the I clearly. In the deep sleep you don't have the I completely. How many of you understand there is a space in you where there is no I? So the basic units of your life is with thoughts, without thoughts, with I consciousness, without I consciousness. These four crisscrosses each other. I'll explain. When you have thoughts and the identity, idea, I, both, it is called waking state, where almost 80% of you are. Not 100%, I'm seeing still. Some are in Pongal Samadhi, some are in Puri Samadhi, some are in Vada Samadhi, some are in Pav Bhaji Samadhi. I don't know what is the evening snacks. Huh? Mixture. Okay. Mixture and bundi samadhi. Whatever. In the waking state, you have I and thoughts, both. How many of you are able to understand what I am saying? I want you to come along with me so that when I explain the 25 states, it will be literally experience for you. First understand, step by step. Where you have thoughts and I consciousness, that is Jagrat state. Where you have thoughts, but the I identity is not strong enough. It is almost non-existent. That is why in one night itself you will see the dream of you getting married, you writing exams, you being chastened by the tiger and elephant and lion. All bad dreams. No. The I is not that clear. Thoughts drive the whole happening. Thinking, thoughts are there, but I consciousness is not there. That is what I call dream state. If you have any doubts, I will further give you more examples and give you clarity. There is a space where you neither have I thought nor have thoughts. You neither have I consciousness nor have thoughts. That's what I call deep sleep. I think 20% of you are there. Whoever has not laughed, I know, they are there. Where you do not have I consciousness and you do not have thoughts. Both are missing. That is what I call sushupti, deep sleep state. Then there is a fourth state, very rarely you experience, where you have I, but you don't have thoughts. Very rarely, when you are having energization. When you are really, really unclutched, or when you go through a very powerful energy experience, those moments, you get the glimpse of it. We call it Turiya, where there is no thought, but there is that I exist. The whole Buddhist enlightenment is only up to Turiya. Understand, these four are the basic units of consciousness. In Sanskrit, I use the word Jakrat, Swapna, Sushupti, Turiya. Turiya means simply fourth state, that's all. Fourth state. There's no meaning for the word Turiya technically. Technically, Turiya, if you translate that word Turiya, means fourth state. Maybe in English I can give a new word, awakened state. I myself can create a word, that's all. There is no English translation. If I translate that word Turiya, it only comes as fourth state. Listen, there is a fifth state on which all these four states operates. All these four functions, that fifth state is almost like this board. Board on which all these four happens in you. The idea of I, the awareness, the consciousness, whatever. That is called Turiyatita, alive state, where the wax out of which your waking state and dream state is made is under your control. You can melt this wax and make whatever you want. Anything you want, it will be under your control. I'll try to repeat once more. Waking state is the state where you have the idea I and thoughts. Dream state where you have thoughts but no idea I, stable I. That is why in one dream itself you will feel you are writing examination, and same way you will feel you have your son next to you. You would have written examination much before your marriage. And this examination fear is one of the strong wedge inserted into your consciousness. How many of you, after 3-4 years of your education got over, used to have a dream that you missed your examination? God, please keep the hands up. I never had this dream. First of all, I don't have a dream. Next thing, I never went to examination. So both problems. Neither I have dreams, nor I went to examinations. Examination fear is the strongest wedge inserted into human consciousness. If we can remove examinations from our education system, world will become non-violent. Really, world will become non-violent. Examination is the worst thing. You go through most horrible experience thinking that if you go through this experience, you may never need to go through any other horrible experiences in your life. It's like I read a one-liner. Husband is a person who stands by you during all the problems, trials, tests, difficulties, which will not be there if he is not there in your life. Now, examination is almost like that only. I am seeing thousands of people every day, either in classes, programs, or giving personal interviews, darshans, or people who come to hear about their Akashic records, whatever. With all my experience, I tell you, the largest reason human beings suffer without experiencing the fourth state is examination fear. The human beings I dealt with, mostly Indians, I can say, with thoughts, without the idea, what you go through is swapna, dream state. Neither thoughts nor the identity I, both does not exist. That is the sushupti, deep sleep state. And you have the thought I, but you have the consciousness, identity I, but no thoughts. That's very rare phenomena. Very rarely you go through that during energization, initiation, or Kundalini awakening. That is Turiya. So this is the basic unit. The space where all these four is happening, like this board on which all the four are written, that space is called Turiyadita. Alive state. The fourth state is awakened state. Fifth is alive, Turiyadita. I want you to take few minutes and take notes. Usually I'll say you don't need to take notes, listen. But now I want you to write also once more, so you are all clear. I can take you to the next step. Please listen. First, I want you to intellectually understand this column. Then I'll explain step by step and define the states of consciousness and give you the example and raise you to that experience. I'll do it literally like a process. When I'm doing that, I'm going to be sitting center of you guys. We'll be sitting in mandala and I'll be there down in with you guys. Now I only want you to understand intellectually. Listen. All these 5 states, deep sleep, dream, waking, awakened, alive. All these 5 states in Sanskrit, Sushupti, Swapna, Jakrat, Turiya, Turiyatita. all these five states cross each other. You may ask, how? Because you are no more a single integrated being. All the time, one part of you is planning, strategizing about your future and possibilities. The other part of you is just interested in denying you, which is strategizing. The part which goes on strategizing about you and your future is called mind, head, intellect, logic. The part which goes on denying you does not want the direction. Not because it is right or wrong, just it does not want. It's like a tantrum throwing child, what you call as heart emotion. Please understand, you have been given a very wrong idea. Your heart and emotion is always right. No. Both are corrupt. Understand? Both are corrupt. Both carry deep incompletions. Heart wants something just because it does not want that. Heart denies something just because head wants it. It's not that always heart is right. No. If you feel heart is right, no. You are wrong. Head is wrong. That does not mean heart is right. Head is wrong does not mean heart is right. Sometimes head is right. That does not mean heart is wrong. Sometimes head is wrong. That does not mean heart is right. Both have their incompletions, both have their problems. Because you are no more a single being. See, invariably when the whole humanity has started experiencing this dual being, two part, that is when our masters declare the Kali started. So two parts of you experiences two different states at a time always. Please understand. If your head, which is strategizing about your future, is now awake, your heart is in dream state, sitting somewhere and doing something else. If you have to put your head and heart together, keep yourself in the waking state, you feel stressed, tensed. Oh, I can't be like that for a long time. Maybe few minutes, okay. Not more than that. How many of you understand what I am saying? How many of you experientially feel, yes, I go through this? Understand, the line, vertical line is a heart projector. Vertical line is heart's line. Horizontal line is logic's line. Head's line. So listen, when your head is in Sushupti, heart is also in Sushupti. It is called Sushupta Sushupti. Deep sleep, deep sleep. Very rarely you experience this. Even in your deep sleep, if you are lying on your bed for 8 hours, maximum you may experience this deep sleep for 20 to 30 minutes. Not more than that. Please understand. Head, heart, both parts of you experiencing sushupti and sushupti, deep sleep and deep sleep. It may happen just for a few minutes in the whole 6 hours or 8 hours. You are lying on your bed. When your head experiencing dream state and your heart experiencing deep sleep, you can perceive this experience. When you dream and just fall asleep without even waking up, you will dream something and you will fall asleep without waking up. Again you will dream something, you will fall asleep. Maybe third time or fourth time when you dream only you will wake up. How many of you have experienced this? When you wake up you will remember all the 3-4 dreams. That is what this state, that Sushupti and Swapna. Then Sushupti and Jakrat, Sushupti and Turiya, Sushupti and Turiyatita. Understand that horizontal line is line of logic, mind. What is your strategy? See, one part of you constantly strategizes about your future, your life, logically goes on analyzing right, wrong, how to get the maximum out of everything. That line of head, logic line. And the other part, heart, emotion. Even the word heart may not be right word, because somehow unfortunately you have that very good idea about heart. I will develop some other word. The crying child, the immature child inside you, which goes on throwing tantrum. Whatever your father says is wrong. Once you decide, just goes on saying no, 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 no. That becomes mantra. The no becomes mantra for one part of you. A complete frustration about everything. Anything which can be seen and which can't be seen. People get frustrated because they can't see Sadashiva. It is good, sometimes you are not able to see. No, we get frustrated even with things which we have never seen, we never experienced, we never perceived. The tantrum throwing child. So better I will use the word TC, tantrum child. The tantrum child is the vertical line. The tantrum child in you is the vertical line, and logical, strategizing mind, that is the horizontal line. Both of you go through, please understand, some of you are small family inside, some of you are joint families inside, some of you are apartment complex inside. Please understand, do not believe you are one person. If you think you are one person, even you will not be able to answer many of your questions about your own self. How many of you feel there are many things which you are not able to answer about you? Then how will anybody else find the answer? That is why if somebody questions you too much, you get angry about them. Even I don't know, how can I explain to you? How many of you feel many times even you are not able to handle yourself? Raise your hand. That is what I mean exactly, the tantrum throwing child. Just saying no, no. I will face whatever it may be. Whatever comes, I'll face. But when it actually comes, you will not be able to face that. Now, how many of you do? Listen carefully. Clearly, you take a very stupid decision with the thought current. When it comes, I will face whatever come what may. And when it comes, you will collapse, you will not face. How many of you? That is what I'm calling tantrum throwing child. Just saying no. Does not bother even about you getting lost something. You just want to collapse, destroy everything. Even if I die, that is okay. Let me destroy the world and die. Let me pull the whole thing down and die. The tantrum throwing child experiences different state, and the logic, strategizing logic, which constantly plans for your life. That personality experiences different state of consciousness. That is why you go through various states of consciousness. Listen. The TC, tantrum throwing child, goes through the deep sleep, and logic goes through the deep sleep, both experiencing deep sleep. That's what I said. Maximum you may experience 20 to 30 minutes, even if you lie down 8 hours in your bed. Then tantrum throwing child going through the dream, and the logic going through deep sleep. Earlier I explained that side, now I am explaining this side. Listen carefully. Earlier I gave an example. You going to dream, falling asleep without waking up. That is what is the example I gave for your logic experiencing dream, tantrum throwing child experiencing deep sleep. Now I am showing you this side. The tantrum throwing child experiencing dream, but the logic experiencing deep sleep. Listen carefully. That is what I call, if I have to find an English equivalent word, frustration. In Sanskrit we call it virakti. Vrakta means the tantrum throwing part of you is active, but the logic is completely absent. Listen carefully. In Sanskrit it's called vrakti. In English I am trying to translate with the word frustration. I'll give you the context where the tantrum throwing you is so alive, wildly active and dreaming. But the logic with which you need to control you, that reins are not in your hand. It's like you are sitting on a wild horse and the horse is running on a hill. It may even jump into cliff now. I'm talking about this part where, see, this is TC, means TC, tantrum throwing child, this whole line. This whole line is logic, your mind. I'm talking about this state. The tantrum throwing child experiencing swapna, dream, wild, going literally wild. And your logic, which is supposed to control, put a rein, is sleeping. It's like you are sitting on a wild horse and you are not able to control the wild horse. It is running. It may jump anytime off the cliff. All the decisions you take in frustration, please understand, all decisions you take in frustration will destroy you. Even if you think it is good decision, I tell you, do not do permanent damage to you because of your temporary sadness. Just don't take decisions when you know you are frustrated. Whenever you know your tantrum throwing child is wildly active and your logic with which you need to control your perception is absent, don't decide. You will be overloaded with frustration. Don't decide. How many of you understand you went through this in your life? How many of you are able to catch what I am describing? Please raise your hand. Next, the tantrum throwing child is in waking state, but your logic is in deep sleep. It means you are not frustrated, you are very destructive. Understand? Very consciously you agree for destruction. You agree for the kind of a tantrum throwing lifestyle. You agree to be in denial. What can I do? That's all. Very consciously you wind up. You withdraw. I may use the word self-denial for this state. The state now I am circling. The state now I have circled, I'll call that as self-denial, where the tantrum throwing child is awake. I should use the word wake up. It's in a waking state. But your logic, the strategizing mind, the strategizing component of you is completely asleep. The next, the tantrum throwing child entering into Turiya tantrum throwing child entering into Turiya and the logic in deep sleep. One good thing is, the moment tantrum throwing child enters into Turiya, he gets healed. He is no more dangerous. He gets healed. Listen, very important thing. If a tantrum throwing child in you catches the glimpse of thoughtlessness, Turiya, even once, the whole thing becomes seeking. That is why the hippies become seekers even if they get one glimpse. The tantrum throwing child in you becomes a powerful seeker even if you catch one glimpse of Turiya. So I'll call this state as Turiya plus Sushupti, which I marked. Seeking awakened but don't know what to do. Your logic does not know what to do, how to proceed. But you know something you need to discover. I'll call that as a seeking but not active. Means you don't plan about how to go about it. Your logic has not found any method. It has not discovered any way to seek. But the tantrum throwing child is now throwing tantrum about everything which is seen or felt, which is not matching with the reality of the Turiya. See, now the Turiya becomes the benchmark. The awakened state becomes the benchmark. Anything which is not matching up to that mark, you throw tantrum about it, but you don't know how to make everything match up to the standard. Understand? At this state, you will say a big capital letter no to everything external. But you don't know to whom you should say yes. You only know to say no to everything, but you don't know to whom you should say yes. How many of you think you got this? Next, Turyatita and Sushupti. When you enter Turyatita, when the tantrum throwing child enters into Turyatita, and the logic is in Sushupti, I call this accidental enlightenment. No, there are few people who got this. They got it accidentally by Guru's grace or by the high energy experience without their logic planning for it. This J. Krishnamurti actually had a glimpse, but accidentally. The next, your tantrum throwing child experiencing deep sleep and your logic experiencing dream state. Understand? This is very interesting. Just now I explained. Where you dream but go back to the deep sleep, again dream and go back to deep sleep. You need to know maximum only 30% of you is your logic part. 70% of you is the tantrum throwing child inside you. That is why how much ever you strategize, always that tantrum throwing child wins in your life. How many of you agree with that statement? How much ever you plan, finally this tantrum throwing fellow wins the game. Even if your logic, for example, tomorrow you have to give a presentation. Your logic is planning for your presentation even in your dream. But the tantrum throwing child pulls you back from the dream to deep sleep state. That is what I will call this Sushupti Swapna, what I marked. Next, the tantrum throwing child experiencing deep sleep, but the logic experiencing waking state. I'll say in this state, your logic thoroughly plans for your future. You will sit and think, nicely plan. But within next 24 hours, you will forget the whole thing and you will start thinking again the same thing and do the same plan. As if the whole thing got control deleted. How many of you experienced this? Your logic's plan, but your tantrum throwing child is not even interested in looking at it. That is what this state, where 70% of you are sleeping and 30% of you is strategizing. It's like 70% of you boycott that meeting. How can any corporate meeting be successful if 70% is boycotting? See, I'll put it in a very simple way. What you desire is your logic. What you believe is your tantrum throwing child. You will never get what you desire. Please understand, you will get only what you believe. You desire always to have wealth, but you believe you will never going to get it. You are never going to get it. You desire to have health, but you strongly believe that is not part of your life. So you will not manifest what you desire, you will only manifest what you believe. People always confuse between desire and belief. Your desire is your logic, your strategy, your future plan. Your tantrum throwing child is what you believe as you. I think now it's too clear. How many of you are catching what I am saying, this statement? Understand, next, your tantrum throwing child is in deep sleep, but your logic is in Turiya. During these moments only you get the darshan, vision of gods, goddesses, guru. But it goes away. It doesn't stay permanently, because anything only if your tantrum throwing child also cooperates only stays with you. For example, if your tantrum throwing child means the TC, if he enters into Turiya, and your logic is in Sushupti, which I circled now, at that state, if you get any experience of God, Guru, Darshan, it stays with you permanently, because 70% receives it. But this state, anything you get will not be permanent. It will not stay with you. It doesn't stay with you. In both states you get, but this, only if your tantrum throwing child enters into Turiya and you experience something, it becomes permanent. Means your belief enters into that state, not your desire. When your desire enters, your belief will pull you back. Ramakrishna gives a very beautiful example. All his examples are completely from Bengali villages, because he lived his whole life in Dakshineswar, which was a village in those days, and he was born in Kamarpukur, which is a remote village. He gives a very beautiful example. These boys will catch the mungus. Am I right? The pronunciation? Mangus or mungus? How you pronounce? Whatever. The boys, when they play in the paddy fields, they catch the mungus. If they catch more than 5, 6, they can't keep them under control. So they will tie a rope in their tail and put a brick in the other end and leave them to go for further hunting. These fellows, they will enter into their home, which is like a dug below the ground. Even if they enter and hide in their nets, in their holes, the boys will come and just pick up the brick and pull the rope. They will come out, they will carry them. Just like the mongoose, in whose tail the rope is tied with a brick, can never hide, can never rest in his hole. If your belief is holding you back, just your desire cannot take you anywhere. Because the belief is a rope and brick. It will just pull you out. Listen, here, your belief is in deep sleep, only your desire experiences higher awareness. Then it doesn't stay permanently. If your desire, even if your desire is in deep sleep, if your belief enters into the higher consciousness, you don't lose it. Next, the tantrum throwing child in Sushupti, and you enter into Turiya. The logic enters into Turiya. Again, this state also will not be permanent. It will not be permanent because the tantrum throwing child is 70% of you. That's more powerful. It will pull you out. But very good introduction, because with your logic, deep seeking, sometimes you catch the glimpse of unclutching. You caught the glimpse of unclutching, but you lost it. How many of you have that experience? This is the state you experienced. The state I have circled now, that's the state you experienced. If you got, unclutching comes by your desire, not by belief. Bhava Samadhi comes by your belief, not by desire. Understand? Unclutching comes by your desire, logical seeking. Bhava Samadhi comes by your belief, a deep feeling connection. The tantrum throwing child, when he feels connected, you experience Bhava Samadhi. I think now many are experiencing Bhava Samadhi. I am seeing many faces. Already experienced. I think I am experientially putting you in Sushupti. I am experientially showing you Sushupti. If your belief is in deep sleep and desire is in Turiyatita, that's the state I have circled. You do catch Satori, but which does not stay back. It doesn't stay back. It goes away. But if your belief catches Turiyatita, desire is not cooperating. That is, I can say, this state. Your belief means tantrum throwing child is catching Turiyatita, but your desire, logic, is in deep sleep, Sushupti. It's not cooperating. This will become permanent, but this will not be permanent. If you achieve this, you will always lose. Achieving this is very easy, but you will lose it. Achieving this needs little practice, but you will not lose it. This comes by Bhava Samadhi, feeling connection. This comes by unclutching, your own effort. If both happens, that is what is, if both happens, that is what is called Turiyatita, which becomes permanent. Thank you. Be blissful.